I'm going to go ahead and introduce our speaker for tonight, and let her get started with the program. Um, Dr. Mary Eberhardinger has taught at various universities in the US and Asia for over a decade. Her work has taken her to Japan, the topic of tonight's presentation, but also Singapore and other institutions on the East Coast, including Emerson College, SUNY Buffalo, and Carnegie Mellon, among others. She has worked in both communication and English departments as her specialty um, and is an alumni of the Japan Exchange and Teaching, or JET program, which she will tell us a little bit more about. But thank you so much for joining us tonight and teaching us a little bit about Japanese gifting culture.
Great. Thanks for having me, Joanne-san and Naoko-san from the Japan Society of Boston. I'm thrilled to be here. Thanks everyone for signing in. It's going to be a great evening. I'm going to go ahead and start and share the screen since I have the control here. And yes, welcome, welcome. As Joanne said, I'm Mary. Please call me Mary. My students call me Dr. E. My last name is Eberhardinger. I work for Central Washington University. And let's get into it. So a lot of my work on Japan and gift culture comes from the Japan Exchange and Teaching Program, the JET program. I lived in Tambashi, Hyogo-ken for 2.5 years, so a total of 3 if you consider study abroad and all of that. So my perspective is from the perspective of a gaikokujin, or an international person, not a person who's from Japan. So there's a difference in kind of the angle that I'm coming from with the topic of gifts. I hope is one that is unique and practical for if you go to Japan, what to do to be prepared in these situations. So I noticed when I lived in Japan that gift was occurring the whole time, from the first day I arrived to the last day I left. And so it's really noticeable for me. It is a powerful vehicle of communication, friendship building, peace, negotiation, and conflict resolution. This is how I feel about it. And so just a brief kind of history and about the industry. As you know, so much money is spent on gifting throughout the seasons. Each season has a different reason to give a different kind of gift. Around $70 billion, this is a statistic from 2022, was spent on gifts alone. And this has been happening for a very long time in Japan, all the way from the samurai and Edo period, where samurai were giving their clan leaders symbolic gifts of allegiance. And so also I want to mention kind of some spiritual backdrop to giving, especially in ochugen and oseibo season. So that's yes, the end of the year and the middle of the year, right? And so those spiritual backdrops are coming from the gifting to ancestors, right? So we're giving pieces of food, different things that please them, that they like. And so these spiritual traditions, I think, have brought forward this wonderful tradition, currently speaking, in today's modern Japan. I want to share really 3 memorable gifts about 3 different times that I received gifts when I was in Japan, that are worth mentioning, just really quick stories. So when I worked in shogakos and chugakos, or elementary schools and junior high schools in Japan, I would spend a lot of time with the students, helping them rehearse for the end of year song. And I would play piano. So one of the things I did was would play piano with my students. I play by ear. I still play for fun. And to my surprise, one of the gifts was piano music. Have you ever heard of Angela Aki? It was many years ago. This was like 2008, 2009. But I still have this today, this book of piano songs, and it's just, I'll never forget the gesture. And again, this gift came from the time we spent rehearsing for the end of year music ceremony, and they took it very seriously. And so I love this gift. And I didn't have one to return immediately, but this is the kind of symbolic giving and exchanging of your time and showing of appreciation, at least on the JET program from my specific experience. Um, a second gift I want to share that really is special and meaningful to me is shuji art or calligraphy. Um, so a quick story about this one. This is in my home. I have a large vertical scroll, uh, a long piece. I had it professionally framed. I befriended a woman, I won't give the name, but she must be in her 80s now. She still lives in Tamba, and she's a calligraphy sensei. Her and I would spend time together. We would go to the onsen. Actually, that's where I first met her, believe it or not. I met her in a public bathhouse. And so these are very popular, the onsens in Japan, especially the winter time. It's fantastic. It's around $5 US. It's really affordable, and I made friendships, believe it or not, in the onsen. So yes, this piece of shuji art came from the time I spent with this woman from the onsen. So it's just putting yourself out there and giving the time is really this cascading of gifts. This is just an example of shuji, the calligraphy. It goes top down from right to left, the way you read the language, and there's specific boxes if you're studying the language, a way to write the language in the box. So she would teach me how to do this, and I would go to her house and take lessons in shuji. So that was a wonderful gift that I still have in my home, and I cherish it today. One more just quick story and gift. Have you ever heard of kokeshi dolls? So these two dolls were given to me by the Chugako's secretary. I was working for Kaibara Chugako. This is 2009 or 2010. And the woman who is the secretary role, she also is gifted, pun intended, in tea ceremony, chado, kimono wearing, ikebana. And so just really taking the time to make friends with people uh, offers this cascading of different gifts. And so kokeshi dolls are hand carved wooden folk crafted pieces of art, and the signature of the artist will be on the bottom of the piece. And so this gift has stuck with me. I would go to her house and I would take lessons with her as well. It sparked me to have my own collection. I must have 15 or 20 of these dolls. So really, it's the gifts, they keep on giving, and they make a difference in our lives, and are a strong vehicle of friendship. So again, this was sparked from Ikebana. I took Ikebana lessons with her. Right before I left, she gave me the Kokeshi dolls. So, as you can see, where I'm going with these stories is that gifts are a universal language. They cut across barriers, linguistic language barriers. They promote these wonderful relationships if we give the time, attention, and appreciation. Now, in Japan, this is working on, I think, a higher level, historically and traditionally. And there's so much to say about how to be prepared, how to appreciate and respect the culture when you find yourself there. So my background, as you might know, is in rhetoric and philosophy of communication. And really quickly, I want to remind our audience today that the basic model of communication, right here as you see, the sender, the receiver, you have encoding, decoding, you have noise or distraction. It is the same thing that is happening with the gift model. So gift is communication. They are happening in the same regard. There's this process of interpreting and thanking and surrounding the event with language. Okay, so that's just a little bit of communication theory behind the event of the gift, because I really feel that the moment you receive a gift or give a gift, you're entering almost a lifelong process of exchange. It can be a lifelong longevity situation. So I want to talk about specific occasions, what to expect, when to expect gift giving in Japan. So we have oseibo, we have ochugen, and then we have like everyday situations of omiyage and temiyage. Now, oseibo is going to be at the end of the year, kind of near oshogatsu period. And then ochugen is in the middle of the year, kind of around obon holiday celebration. So, and I did discuss this with Naoko-san to verify kind of just, it's roughly 3,000 to 5,000 yen you're spending. And I'll get into some examples of what you can buy. But these are kind of the big times of the year where a lot of money, more money is being spent in the gifting industry. As you might know, omiyage is this very thoughtful, other-oriented gesture where the whole idea is you get have the luxury of traveling, of going somewhere else. So why not share that experience with your coworkers, with the staff? And so this would happen to me on the JET program. I would walk into the shokuin shitsu or the teacher's staff room, and everyone has a piece of omiyage in the Monday morning waiting on the desk. So I got used to this culture, this expectation. Temiyage, on the other hand, is some te means the hand, and temiyage would be what you bring into the home for the first time. Also, what you may bring to a meeting, a conference or a business meeting. So, just some ideas on what would be appropriate here. Think about seasonal fruits like pears, plants, flowers, little bottles of alcohol, kind of making sure they're okay with osake, or that's the word, the general word for alcohol. Small sweets, spices, recipes, bath things, souvenirs. I personally would give magazines to my boss, like from the United States, because he was a big runner, and I would give marathon magazines. So you're getting the idea uh, to make a good impression, to be well prepared when you're doing this, when you're going over there. Small, individually wrapped, aesthetically pleasing, paying attention to the appearance and the presentation. And also, I want to mention an odd number. There are, I think, spiritual and superstitious beliefs behind the number. So we'll get into how odd numbers are favored as more lucky than even numbers. All right. Different other occasions when you're giving in Japan are Valentine's Day and White Day. Valentine's Day is actually women usually giving to men. And there's different kind of giri, jibun, tomo, or honmei. Now, giri meaning kind of workplace relations, your boss, a coworker. Jibun would be this kind of self-care, self-gift. A tomo meaning for a friend, and then a true love, someone you really have feelings for, honmei. Now, when you're giving these things, just a few things to keep in mind. Are you familiar with meishi handling? Meishi, the business card, two hands, right? When giving and receiving. Well, I'd like to encourage you to do the same thing with gift giving. Handling with two hands, being aware with your body language of how you're receiving. Modesty in appearance, modesty in cost. We don't want to get stressed out or break the bank over the cost. But not to worry, there's this thing called noshi. paper or no shigami, this is a lifesaver. This, honestly, the department stores in Japan will do a meticulous job. And here's just an example of when you go there, they will have specific paper for the occasion, whether it's a wedding or a funeral or a birthday, or if someone gets sick. And so these specific white pieces of paper lay over the package. And there's wording that refers to the occasion. So when you're ready to buy a gift, go to any department store and ask for, say this is for oseibo, or this is for ochugen, or this is for something else. And and so there's a lot of, I'll say, symbolic or the word semiotic significance behind the colors and the wrapping and just all these things that go into the presentation. You may be aware of the minimalism, the aesthetic of overall design in Japan. So one thing I want to touch on is mizuhiki, knots. And my colleague Sayoko-san will demonstrate later in the furoshiki demonstration how this is kind of working. So there's different kinds of knots for different kinds of reasons and occasions. We have a butterfly knot for a happy occasion. Something is starting. Someone has a baby, entering a school. You want to give a gift versus a square knot being for something that might happen once in life, getting sick, perhaps a wedding. And so, with that, we have the knots that symbolize different things, and we have the colors that symbolize different reasons. We have red and white for celebration, and then a more somber black and white for funerals. Now, these days, social media and apps are keeping up with the changing trends of how to gift. I mean, you can do a department store or you can get on an app called Line. This is kind of like a WhatsApp, or it's a popular one in Japan. And there's all these options and price points and streamlined ways to just do the gift, and it's stress free. There's so many different ways to do this today in Japan. But please remember when you're doing this to avoid certain numbers. There's certain numbers that symbolize kind of negative spiritual beliefs. Now, first one's the number four. A number four is symbolizing sheet or death, and then the number nine, ku, is the sound for suffering. Overall, be aware if you're bringing something to a family or a house that you're bringing kind of a little bit extra, just maybe one or two extra for the group. It's always a good gesture to do that. Odd numbers are considered lucky, as I mentioned before. Um, I hope you don't have to go to a funeral in Japan, but if you do, there are some specific technicalities to be aware of. Um, so, what happens in a funeral situation is a monetary gift. It's called ochugen, and the ochugen is put in an envelope, kolden. So, a special black and silver envelope, kolden bukuro. And the amount is actually kind of high to help subside the services. If you give, for example, 100 US dollars, you can expect to get a gift in return later worth half the amount, around 50 US dollars, just to give an example. Depends on your relationship, depends on the closeness uh, of degree relationship you have with the person who invited you. There's a lot of specifics. There's a lot of different technicalities, rules, if you will. I don't want to stress out our audience today. This is a joyful topic. Again, my call about gifts to everyone is that this gifts can be celebrated. across cultures, especially in Japan. It's a wonderful way to get to know people and, like I said, to start a lifelong kind of relationship. It is a conversation. It is communication. You are learning, you are giving something back, right? So if you receive, you give something back, and that this is a process that can go on for a long time if you want to be friends for a long time. So that's kind of my call, is that this fosters cooperation, peace, and conflict negotiation. This is a form of soft power. All right. So what do I mean a soft what do I mean by soft power? Really quickly, this is kind of a political term. The Harvard researcher Joseph Nye coins soft power really, really simply. He says it's attraction. It's the ability to create attraction. Now, in the communication field, we might call that rhetorical, persuasive, influential. He says in the book, Soft Power, The Means to Success in World Politics, he says that countries come to know other countries in three ways. This is his theory. So, really quickly, we come to know other countries through war, trade or commerce, and then soft power. So, that's where gift comes into play. Gift is a form of soft power. It is a powerful vehicle. And so an example of this happening, really briefly. So you might remember the Great Tohoku earthquake in 2011. So Russia gave assistance to Japan, specifically Akita Prefecture. And there was a lovely gesture from Japan to Russia. Basically, Japan was so thankful, so happy to be given the assistance from the Great Tohoku earthquake that the government gifted Vladimir Putin an Akita Inu dog. He loves these dogs, and this sparked a cascading of gifts, as I kind of call it, a cascading of gifts where other world leaders are giving Vladimir Putin dogs. So now, yes, that's just the example of soft power happening in the geopolitical sphere on the macro level, on kind of the bigger level. But so I just want to briefly plug in kind of part of my work on gift. It is coming from my book. I'd love to talk further about it if you'd like. This is kind of a bit more philosophical and theoretical into communication theories behind gift and international relations. But to kind of tie it all back together here, come full circle, this is my call. Gift happening in Japan is special and unique, but of course, not only Japan, but many countries. We have a lot to experience and to learn. And so this is just a quick picture of my home in a previous year where I'm displaying kind of this cascading of gifts that I learned from Japan, and that I can give back and teach and share. It's all about sharing. The reason we give gifts is to share information, knowledge, something new is to learn. So it's an educational vehicle, right? So with that said, I'd be happy to get into more specifics and questions and technicalities later during the Q&A. I just want to allow enough breathing room and space for the rest of the program. But for now, we're going to change the baton and shift it over, Joanne-san and Naoko-san, to our colleague Sayoko-san for the furoshiki talk.
Thank you so much, Mary,
Mhm.
for that very informative presentation portion. I know there's kind of a lot of information to pack into one brief session. So again, if anyone has kind of specific questions, I saw one that came in earlier, we'll definitely address during Q&A. I've also just added in the chat just now Mary's book as well as her LinkedIn if you'd like to connect and kind of discuss further this very interesting topic. Now we're going to hear a little bit from as Marie said, Sayako-san from KO KYOTO. So KO KYOTO is a gift shop. that has high quality, authentic goods, a really wide variety of gifts and homeware, a great place to acquire gifts to give to important people in your life or this upcoming holiday season. They're located in Bow Market in Somerville, and they have been a supporter of JSB for a very long time. If any JSB members are here, you can shop in person and get a discount with your membership card. So please go and check them out. There's also just a lot of great businesses, small businesses in that area. So it's a fun place to shop. And we'll hear a little bit today about a very traditional way of presenting gifts, furoshiki, and a couple of ways of how to actually implement that yourself from Sayoko-san. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm Sayako, working at KO KYOTO. Thank you for having me today. So I'm going to talk about furoshiki, like what is a furoshiki and how to use a furoshiki. So furoshiki is like this, a square cloth, and the Japanese people use furoshiki to wrap up things and then carry items in daily life. And then furoshiki means, so furo in Japanese means a bath. Shiki means like put something on the flat space. So furoshiki was used by the samurai lords in Edo in 15 to 17th centuries. When they are invited to shogun, like a big bath, they use furoshiki to carry their clothes and bath tools. And also they use furoshiki to step onto and then prepare like a put in the clothes or cleaning their body after the bathing. But in modern period, we use furoshiki to carry items, and also we use furoshiki for gift wrapping to as an alternative to wrapping paper as a more eco-friendly way. So today I'm going to show you how to use the furoshiki for gift wrapping. So first, so could you see this camera? I'm going to demonstrate under this camera. And if you have any like kind of clothes, preferably square or 20 by 20 inch-ish size, it's better, but you can practice how to use or do furoshiki with me. So first, I'm going to show how to knot like this by furoshiki. It's called mamusubi, similar to a square knot. Mamusubi, it's hard to loose by itself, but it's easy to untie. So I'm gonna show how to do it. So if you have a close place the furoshiki and pull up right and the left corner by your hand and cover the left corner over the right corner over the left corner and tuck it under the left corner and make it even, put it out, and then cover the right corner by left corner and tuck in and pull out. This is mamusubi. I'll show it to again just in case. So hold to both sides of furoshiki and across it. Tuck the right corner under the left corner and put it out, and then tuck the left corner under the right corner. So this is mamusubi. And then I'm gonna show how to wrap up a box or a gift Or also you can use the way to wrap out like any lunchbox or book or clothes as well. So place furoshiki on a flat space, looking like a diamond. And then place a box on the center of the furoshiki. This is the first tip. So please make sure your box is located in the center of furoshiki. If you'd like to make sure it, please put up all corners and shake it a little bit. And then the box located naturally in the center. So, and open it again. Okay. And then once you make sure, first, put up the bottom corner and cover the box. If you have like any excess clothes here, you can tuck under the box. And then put up the top corner and cover the box. So it looks like this. And then also you can tuck in this excess clothes under the box, or you can fold it a little to make it align the edge of the box. Either way is okay. And then hold the right corner and pull it up. When you pull up the right corner, please tuck the excess clothes inside to make it nicely. And pull it up. Then for now, hold it here. And then move on the left hand. So put up the left corner and tuck the excess clothes inside and put it up. So now you can see two corners over the box like this, like a red rabbit. And then do mamusubi on the box. So cover the left corner by right corner, tuck under the left corner, put it up, and then cover the right corner over, cover the right corner, and put it up, and then make it even, and then play with it to make it nicely, and finish. So this is how to wrap up the box or the item, your belongings or anything as well. This is the most basic way to wrapping up by furoshiki. And then I'm gonna introduce how to wrap up the thing by like this way. It's called flower wrapping up because it looks like a flower. So I'm gonna show it to you. So first, I'm gonna untie it. And also, when it comes to flower wrapping, there are two ways. So I'm gonna introduce the authentic way first, and then I'm gonna show the casual way for a set. And okay, I'll change the furoshiki to demonstrate the flower wrapping. So I'm gonna use the monkey pattern furoshiki. So first, place the furoshiki looking like a diamond shape. Put the box in the center. And then cover the box by bottom. Oh, sorry, I got wrong. So first, please pull up the top corner and the bottom corner and put them together and hold on the box. And while you hold two corners, put it up the left corner and wrap it around the first hand. And do the same thing with the right hand. So put it up and wrap it around the first one. So it looks like this. You can see two corner and then two corner come from the right and the left. And do mamusubi was two corners came from the right and left. Now looks like here. And then put it out to big corners a little bit, up toward. And now you open two corners a little bit and hold the tip of corner and tuck it inside, like the center of a flower. And make it flower onto the box and play with it. And then finish. Look like a flower. And then last thing, I'm going to show the casual way. So untie them up. So now it's the first position. And cover the box by front corner and top corner. And put two side of corner together. And now you're gonna use rubber band and tie them up by rubber band. And then open two corners and hold the tip of corner and tuck it under the band. And make it little spread out. And you can adjust the tip of corner to make it look like a little small leaf. And then play with it. And then finish it. So this is casual way and an easier way to wrap up a box for a gift. And so this is how to wrap up the box for a gift, also like for daily for daily life. And then when it comes to furoshiki, our store have a lot of patterns. Like for example, we have zodiac sign patterns, Chinese zodiac sign like a sheep, or dogs, a monkey as I use, and also crane and then turtle to celebrate longevity. And also we have other, like, there's a normal pattern. And then appearance looks like this if you wrap the bottles. So when it comes to patterns, you can choose like on your preference. Also, if you would like to put like additional meaning, like a celebration or a celebration, like you can choose like some certain pattern, like traditional pattern, or crane and turtle as a animal motif known as a celebration for longevity. And also our store having other a lot of items for a gift, like Dr. E mentioned about shodo. So we have this type of calendar. It's a daily calendar, but you can also like do shodo like with the brush pencil. Also, we have frogs to decorate your room with flowers, like a Japanese style, or kumiko. It's like Japanese traditional the puzzle decoration. Like you can so it's everything cut by hand. So we have a lot of Japanese traditional items came from Japan and also Kyoto City. So if you're interested in Japanese items for gift or for holiday seasons, you can check it out our website and also the store as well. And also we ship all items. So please check it out. And also if you bring your furoshiki to our store, we can wrap it up your gift for free. So please feel ask us and then come to our store. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sayako-san. Yeah, so they have, as you can see, kind of a lot of really fun things. And as she mentioned, if you purchase their furoshiki or bring one of your own, they'll wrap it up for you, like they do in department stores in Japan. But yes, thank you so much to both of our speakers tonight. I will include kind of all the relevant links and such in the follow-up email, as well as the video recording of this program, if you want to go back and look at how she did to reference again. But we'll now receive any questions you have for both of the speakers, and Naoko as well, our executive director, will answer any questions you have about gifting customs, what might be appropriate. If you have any very specific examples, we're happy to give you advice here as well. I do want to go back and kind of voice out some of the questions we got early in the program, just in case people didn't see those. If anyone has additional comments for Paul, who asked, they recently visited Japan for the first time and had the opportunity to visit an artist in studio. They want to send a gift to them, but they're worried the gift will create an obligation that will be a burden because of the reciprocal nature. I wonder if any of the speakers had, I think Mary may have answered, but if Naoko-san has some additional insight, or Sayako-san.
I think it's perfectly fine to send a gift.
I agree. I think it's a great idea to do it. Yeah. And it's not a burden because the original gesture was the artist giving the gift of time to show you the studio.
And then we had a couple questions about the furoshiki in general. When you, and these were in the chat, but just voicing them again. But Karen was asking, when you bring a gift or food in furoshiki to a host, do you leave the cloth behind along with the gift, or how does that go?
So as a Japanese people, actually we use furoshiki for just wrapping, and when you give it to a person, we open it and then give it to them. So normally we don't give the furoshiki include as a gift included, but you can give it, of course, as well as like a gift.
Naoko-san was saying, if you want to gift the furoshiki along with it, you kind of signify that and say that it's a gift as well, but generally the furoshiki is returned to the sender. I
And we
think
use again and again.
there were a couple questions, I think, about the right type of furoshiki to use, or some patterns or designs have different meanings. I think similarly to how, wrapping paper in the US, there's kind of birthday wrapping paper and there's kind of Christmas wrapping paper, and it would be a little strange to receive like a birthday present wrapped in maybe a holiday themed wrapping paper. It's kind of the same where if you were to give, for example, they were showing off their zodiac patterned furoshiki. If it was in the right year of that right zodiac, it would make sense to use that animal design. Or maybe if you know that person's birthday and you know that's their zodiac symbol, it might make sense to use that one for that specific person. But it may be a little bit strange to use a furoshiki that has a specific pattern for a certain occasion or certain year that didn't match. Just to show that you're giving care and attention to all the small details, I think is appreciated. Um, Adlai, excuse me if I pronounce your name incorrectly, are there regional variations in Japan among gifting practices?
Like regional specificity. Like if you go to Okinawa, you get something that is traditionally Okinawan versus in Tohoku or Hokkaido. It's right now, Kosan, you get something from that you can't get in other prefectures or other regions. I would, from my experience.
And I've heard that in Nagoya, people tend to give like more expensive gifts, and the weddings are like more lavish compared to other areas.
That's interesting. I didn't know about Nagoya. And I was going to mention really quickly about furoshiki. What I love so much about furoshiki is the continuous, Sayoko-san was saying, continuous giving and receiving. If you do receive furoshiki, now it's your turn to think of something to put in it, furoshiki, and give back. So it's that friendship ongoing. Yeah.
Very
And
simple.
also, sorry, when you receive the furoshiki, you can use furoshiki for daily life, not only for gift wrapping. So when you give the furoshiki to your friend or a family or someone, you can tell, like, you can use the furoshiki for your daily life to carry something. And then so you can like search how to like wrap it up, like for the to item, like with handle, like more sustainable way. It's so versatile. So a lot of like there are so many ways to use furoshiki.
I remember my Japanese friend, their mom packed them lunch every day, and then the lunch was wrapped in the furoshiki. It's very common. It's also very helpful because the bento box had the food, but then on top you could put utensils and side things, and it would all be kind of encompassed in the one cloth bag that can kind of fit anything. So yes, very versatile. Um, Diana asked, their furoshiki has a right side and a wrong side, kind of like a pattern and non-pattern. Does that make it difficult to use or fold?
No, it's totally okay. Just like the appearance is gonna little different. So for example, this furoshiki has like a lot of 4 types of pattern, and then the other side is kind of like back side, but you can just like pay attention which side of the back and front. It is a good answer for the question. And up to the box or like the in that thing you wrap, the appearance is gonna be changed. And then there is no like a correct way or like a specific appearance. So it's quite flexible.
Dorothy asks, there must be equivalent stores in Japan to purchase furoshiki, so maybe advice on where you could find furoshiki in Japan.
Well, it's maybe a little bit hard to find a furoshiki like for everywhere, but some certain store or brand like there is in Japan. For example, Musubi, it's the specific brand to sell furoshiki, and also our furoshiki also came from. And then there are so many types of furoshiki, like a zodiac pattern as well. Oh, sorry, like this pattern and also red and white color patterns, and also collaborated with some designers. So you can Google it, and it's the easiest way to find it, I think.
Toby asks, a friend in Japan and her husband recently celebrated their 50th anniversary. They would like to send them a gift. Is there a certain type of gift that is typically given for this kind of special occasion or anniversary? For example, in the US, it's golden anniversary, so we often give a gold color theme gift.
It's typically called soju, and a little bit early celebration because 50 is still young. But the color is supposed to be blue, but you don't have to stick to blue. Whatever color the person likes, and we typically give gifts that has that person's initials, so that it's something like personalized. Things to avoid: if that 50-year-old friend is older than you don't give like slippers or socks, something you step on, because then that's that person's supposed to be older. So you don't want to give something that, to be stepped on. And also we would avoid combs, because combs in Japanese is kushi. Ku is again the sound of 9. Shi is the sound of like 4. So suffering death, kushi. So you don't give combs. Yes, I think, and also you don't give handkerchiefs, because that's what you give when you're saying farewell to somebody.
So one clarification, Toby, their friend is celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. So
Oh, sorry. Then it's the same gold, yes. Kinkonshiki. And photo frame or something that they can put there, like history as a record, nice album, yeah.
Also, some people pay attention not to give the thing which can be broken or like separate, not separate thing.
one question that's someone generalized. Is there anything that could cause giving a gift to be perceived as improperly quid pro quo or insincere? For example, I think this is a good question. Would it be appropriate to bring temyagi to a job interview?
Okay.
It looks like Naoko has an opinion.
Let's hear Naoko-san first.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea to bring
I don't, yeah.
bring it to the job interview, because then it looks like you want to increase your chance of getting the job, but through the gift, and the person who receives it feels a little awkward, like, like, I received this gift and what if I don't take this person? So I wouldn't take a gift. Like, once you get the job, and let's say if your father's visiting and brought the picture book from Boston, or I don't know, rubber duckies or something, sure, like you can give it to your boss, but not to the job interview.
Agree. Yeah. The relationship is not built yet. Once, like Naoko-san said, if you get the job, then you begin new relationship, begin the gift process. Yeah.
I think it is common if you are visiting kind of an external company for the first time for like a meeting or the start of some negotiations, then you may bring a small gift because it's like temyage you're bringing into someone's home. Their company building is kind of like the company's home, so it's kind of in that same sense. And not just also for the first time as well. It's kind of every time you would continue to do this. Are there any additional questions or from anyone? Just a last minute call, as it is around 7:04.
There's one more question about the sympathy card. I have sent sympathy card without money just because I don't want the money to be stolen when I sent it from here. So I think it's perfectly fine to send like a sympathy card from here to somebody who lost their loved ones in Japan. But if you are like going to their funeral, I would, depending on how close you are to the family, but most people would bring money in the envelope. And depending on the religion, like if the family is Buddhist, Christian, or Shintoist, what's on the envelope is a little different. So like the water lily pattern shouldn't be given to Shintoist. That's for Buddhist. And the white lily pattern on the white envelope, that would be for Christians. And so for Shintoist, it's best to pick like a solid white envelope. And depending on how much is in it, to put the mizuhiki on means like there's a lot in it. So if you're only putting like 3,000 to 5,000, you would pick the envelope that has the pattern of the mizuhiki, yes, like printed, right? But if you put a nice mizuhiki on, the more money you put in, the mizuhiki gets more luxurious.
Um, yeah, so I generally, I think if the staff maybe speaks English, they're very helpful in rather than you don't need to know the right one. If you let them know what the occasion is, explain the situation, they will often be able to give you the appropriate packaging or paper or whatever it is. Last final question. Briefly speak to Mizuki paper cord for wrapping.
Yeah, so when mizuhiki is used for ornament for wrapping. So like put the noshigami, like a paper or like a wrapping paper, we can put this type of mizuhiki on the top, like a small mizuhiki, or like a little more luxurious mizuhiki as well. So not only like mizuhiki, you can put the paper and then put that mizuhiki, like both.
Um, do you have Mizuhiki at the shop in Somerville?
Mizuhiki shop. We do not have like any mizuhiki ornament like ready-made, but we have some workshops so you can make the mizuhiki with us as well. And also if you like purchase like item here, we wrap up with like mizuhiki ornament.
So yes, it's something that you can kind of receive when you purchase from a department store. It will be included with everything. And they do have their workshops here and there where you can learn to do it yourself or make your own. I'm just going to kind of wrap up a couple of these last comments so that just to respect everyone's time tonight. If anyone has any kind of specific questions now, anytime in the future, JSB is always here as a resource for people. So if you have, like the Gabriella, you're going to Japan, you're not sure what to bring, please just send us an email. We can give you advice, insight into what is appropriate. If that is reassuring to you, we're happy to be there for you as a personal resource, as well as I noticed someone had questions specifically to the JET program. Feel free to send us any questions regarding that as well, or speak directly to Mary about maybe hear her personal experience. But just generally, any questions about Japanese culture, you can always send us an email, and we'll be happy to help you if we can. And Yes, Kyoto is a very great place to check out. They actually are a Kyoto official designated store. So from the city of Kyoto in Japan, which Boston has that sister city connection, they've been officially recognized as selling kind of authentic products and sharing that to the people of Boston.
It's Kyoto Prefecture designated. Yes.
So yes, all these information will be in the follow-up email to all the registrants. So thank you so much for your attention and attendance tonight. If you also have any follow-up questions for tonight's speakers, if you send them to us, we can relay that as well. Um, thank you so much.